Hey there, so Cannonkeys sent over their Bakeneko keyboard kit, a really interesting budget 60% keyboard, and Drop sent a set of GMK Laser keycaps, so I thought I'd make a keyboard build with those parts. Paired with some navy SP Star linear switches, this is probably the ultimate purple and navy custom keyboard out there. Alright, let's build this thing. So I started by installing the provided stabs onto the PCB. I made sure to clip them first and lube them too. I then went ahead and added the included FR4 plate. FR4 is the same material as what PCBs are made of, so it flexes a bit more than aluminum as an example. I proceeded to install all switches, making sure no pins are bent, that they're fully inserted, and that the plate sits correctly. I then added the daughter board at the bottom of the case with the 4 provided screws. I made sure the GST cable was already connected too. After that, I installed the O-ring. It's just a matter of installing it around the plate and PCB assembly between the actual plate and PCB. Once it's in there, you want to connect the cable and push the assembly down until it bumps on the little standoffs all around the case. Finally, I added all keycaps on the keyboard. Here, I'm using GMK Laser with the Turbo add-on kit, and since this keyboard's PCB has south-facing switch sockets, there's no interference with cherry profile keycaps, such as GMK's, and then we're done. So the Bakeneko60 by Cannonkeys is a very interesting option as a budget build. At $130, you get everything but switches and keycaps, and it even comes with a super high quality hardshell case. A Tofu 60 case with nothing else is around $100 already, so how did they do it? This case is casted instead of machined, and then it is painted instead of anodized, so that's where most of the savings come from. Casting marks can be found, but mostly inside the keyboard, and the paint job isn't as perfect as anodizing, but honestly, my unit was pretty nice, no major flaws or issues. Given the O-ring mount, it will also sound better than the Tofu 60, which is a tray mount. I was expecting quite a bit of flex with this mounting type, but it doesn't move as much as I thought. It's more flexible than my Tofu 60 as an example, but it's still relatively stiff. Maybe I didn't install the O-ring properly or something, but in all cases, one thing that is a clear improvement is how even all keys sound compared to a tray mount. This keyboard features the typical NC layout for 60% keyboards. Pretty much all keycap sets will fit. The PCB I got is the hot swap one, so there's only one layout possible, but if you go with the solderable version, there's a lot more flexibility, including ISO support, step caps lock, 7U spacebar, and split backspace. Pretty cool. So now to these GMK keycaps. They're really impressive overall. I got the base kit as well as the turbo kit, and it came with a few novelties. That's the pink, orange, and yellow alpha keys you see there. The turbo kit would be a bit more worth it on a board with an Afro, as a lot of the keys aren't used like this, and it would look a bit better with the Synthwave M170 kit, as the alphas are darker, but still, it looks pretty unique this way. I don't think I saw another keyboard with GMK Laser laid out like this. I have to note that not all keys came out perfect. As an example, the D key shows a bit of yellow spill at the front. If I had paid for the set, I would request a replacement since these are quite expensive, and that's one of the benefits of going with an in-stock set such as GMK Laser on drop, where you can get replacements more easily. Then the I key as well as the brackets were a little shinier than other keys out of the box with no use at all, so that's a bit weird. Honestly, I love the richness of the colors and the overall quality when keys are as expected, but the quality control isn't perfect, and that's a bit disappointing given the price of GMK keycaps. I hope that my future group buys won't have these issues. So for the stabs, given the design of this keyboard with the O-ring, you cannot use screw-in stabilizers, but the clip-in ones that are included are pretty good actually. Once fully inserted, it doesn't really make a considerable difference. They sound pretty good. The spacebar stab could use a bit of additional tuning, but all other stabilized keys sound pretty much the same as other keys to me. And as for switches, I lubed some SP stars and filmed them as well. The quality control wasn't perfect either. Even after lubing, some switches still felt rough a little, but I had enough left to cover this whole board. And the ones that are good feel very nice with minimal wobble. My build has a fairly high pitch sound. I guess the aluminum case and the fact that there's no foam in it probably play a role in this sound signature, but I'll let you hear it for yourself. So to wrap things up, this keyboard doesn't offer any type of wireless connectivity nor RGB LEDs, and to me that's a super valid trade-off given the value here. It does, however, support VIA and QMK for reprogramming it, which is super cool. I used VIA to map arrow keys and the function row to a secondary layer, and it worked well for that. So in conclusion, to me it's clear that the Bakeneko60 is an incredible value. If you find a color you like and it's actually in stock, I would pick this one over a Tofu 60 as an entry-level custom mechanical keyboard. While the finish quality might be a bit inferior or at least imperfect, the lower price and better sound are worth it to me. It also looks kind of similar to the Tofu 60, it's not like you're getting a totally different design. As for GMK Keycaps, I appreciate the uniqueness of the design and the quality is overall great, but I find it hard to justify paying as much for a set. If you can find a similar set from EPBT or other decent brands, it might be a better value in my view. As an example, my white on blue EPBT set costs $70, and like a GMK set, it is ABS, double shot, and cherry profile, and I could hardly tell which is higher quality between the two. So I'd say go with GMK if you really like the design, but consider EPBT or others if you can find what you like with them. So that's it for today. I'll link to all the parts I use down below. Feel free to use those links to help out the channel at the same time. Hope you enjoyed, make sure you leave a like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, as I'll see you in the next video.